back to the Intel Extreme Masters Toronto. How you guys feeling? There's just more and more of you, and it just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? All right, the next match is gonna be pretty epic. Two prodigies are about to go head-to-head, and I'm really, really curious to see what the result is gonna be. In one booth, we have from Korea, a 7-time StarCraft 2 champion at the age of 17, former Intel Extreme Masters New York champion, just won DreamHack Bucharest. Very scary guy. Please put your hands together for StarTale Life. And in the other booth, originally from Kingston, Ontario, they call her the Queen of Blades. She lives and trains in Korea now, and she crushes nerds. Please scream and shout for Acer's Scarlett.
Gotta tell you right now, there is little room left here at the Fan Expo. It's standing room only right now. I'm looking across the crowd. They're absolutely jam-packed in here for this game. And Kevin, Todd, I don't know what else we say about this other than it's highly anticipated.
So,
always these two playing
Talk to us about the launch pad.
So I would like to I actually have some information about ZvZ that doesn't pertain to roaches.
Wow.
All right, you ready?
Drop those bombs.
No, it's not all roaches. It's not all roaches.
Guy in the front row, it's all roaches.
So recently at the, there was a show match in Taiwan while I was there. It was Team Acer versus Team Yoey Flash.
Okay, before we get into this story, can I just confirm that you were actually trying to speak Taiwanese?
Well,
badly.
Yes.
And you asked for someone's mother.
I asked a lot of things.
Yeah, wrongly.
Yes.
Okay, carry on.
Great. Perfect. I'm glad we got that out of the way. If you're curious what he's referring to, it's somewhere in my Twitter history. And it was embarrassing. Learning a new language is incredibly embarrassing. But anyway, I watched Scarlett play ZvZ there. The map was on Overgrowth. Don't worry about it. He's fine. He's a Protoss. He's not really expected to know anything.
Can't multitask? One key only?
And Scarlett used a style where she went for fast Mutalisk and then transitioned directly into Broodlords.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so while you're talking about ZvZ, I've got something to throw at you. This might be a PvZ.
Wait, wow, huh?
I doubt it.
I'm not kidding you.
She saved the Protoss for Dongregu.
Scarlett
actually won the last 2 encounter against Life.
I'm just going to throw this out there. We actually had to clarify a rule in the rulebook for Intel Extreme Masters because she needed to know.
Okay.
If she could switch race in between games.
And is that allowed?
And that is allowed.
Okay.
So just throwing that out there. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
So each game could be a unique experience.
Absolutely. And Life might not know what's hidden.
Well, he might not realize that she's Protoss until the 7.
Until it's too late.
Until the 7 game.
Until Dazella's getting whopped in his main. But Scarlett won the last 2 encounter, by the way.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that it's a possibility. I watched her practicing backstage, and she was playing Protoss.
All right. Well,
not unusual because she's been
Flash
doing
was
that
as
before.
well, but I'm pretty sure it's not Magic Protoss.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that'd be quite crazy if this turns into 2 Protoss players in there.
Tasia was playing Counter-Strike.
Taking it to the next level.
And I don't think that really has much bearing at all on what he's going to do.
No, maybe he's heard that there's a 250 grand prize pot for the next Counter-Strike. So I don't know. He's just worried about only winning $10,000
all right, so
from us.
Let's say you think Scarlett might play Protoss, and I agree
I'm just saying that it's a possibility.
How many games do you think she'll try and play Protoss?
I think if she loses the first one, I think she might bust it out in the second. Maybe.
You think she'll start with ZvZ?
Yeah.
That's how you start a comeback against the Zerclair. You pick Protoss and you all win.
Yeah, so it used to be when behind Dark Shrine. Now it's when behind play Protoss.
Absolutely. Kevin's got this sussed out completely. Todd, what do you think? Complete gobbledygook or...
Live ZvZ is really good, but Scarlett beat him the last 2 times she played against him, and last time was at MLG not that long ago. She broke him with a nice all-in in the last game. I think she can do it again, and I think she will do it again.
Okay.
So you don't think she's going to play Protoss at all?
Man, I'm really tired of getting bashed for being a Protoss, so I hope she doesn't play Protoss, but I'm sure a lot of people would be entertained if she did.
Yeah, I think you have some sort of inferiority complex about this now. You think we were bashing, we were just merely asking questions.
No, he's referring to if she switches to Protoss and beats
and
Life.
wins.
Right.
Yeah, then all of a sudden, Twitter, Reddit, everyone is like, Protoss is so easy, Scarlett can off-race and beat a GSL whatever.
Oh, it's almost as if it was you who wrote that when it happened last time.
Well, interesting.
And on that very awkward note, we'll move on from the couch and head over to the professional area that is known as the commentator's desk.
Thank you very much, Red Eye, and welcome over here. Welcome to Group D, the group that we've all been waiting for since, before today even started, weeks ago, once the groups were announced. This is going to be a good couple of hours to follow. We have Scarlett versus Life upcoming. What could we ask for better than this, Nathanius?
Not much, Apollo. This group easily, I think, probably one of the top, if not the favorite of almost everybody that's coming to attend this tournament. You have the most well-known Canadian player, Scarlett, competing. You have Flash.
I know you're excited for that guy.
Those are two of the most anticipated players, I think, when the groups got announced for this tournament by far.
So just to update you before we jump into this, we will cover, of course, Scarlett versus Life, and immediately after it will be Flash versus MC. The games are going to get intense from here. We are ready to begin Group D. Down here, Nathanius, as the blue Zerg player. Playing for Team StarTale, it's Life!
He's won an IEM before, and he is up against the most famous Canadian StarCraft player in the southeast position, the Red Zerg from Team Acer from Canada. She is Scarlett.
Of course, a lot of people here hoping Scarlett can take down this victory and move through to the winner's game to play on stage once more, but already some decisions have been made. We've got Life going for a temple so early on here.
This is a bit of a, not, I'd say, uncharacteristic play. Life's known for being aggressive on big maps like this where it's hard to scout. But unfortunately for him, he's going to have to make a bit of a risky decision past this point, I feel, since his Overlord won't find Scarlett's base. I guess Scarlett's Overlord could reveal her position to him.
Yeah.
She's not doing anything quite so aggressive, either going for a fast hatch or an economic pool.
But this does kind of bode well for Scarlett. Her first Overlord, we'll see the Zerglings coming out, but what is her build? Anyway, she's gone spawning pool first here, 15 spawning pool coming down, and this is the better of the two options she could have gone for if it was going to be hatchery first. We have a gas coming in for Life. This is going to be explosive from the 17-year-old here. He's going for a very aggressive early attack. It's going to come down to Scarlett's control. How well can she handle this with 500 people more watching?
Yeah,
is she going to make mistakes?
there's a lot of stress playing in front of the home crowd. Life started up his queen before any Zerglings. He's also taken a gas with this. So this isn't quite the I want to get Zerglings at your base really fast build. This is the I want to get fast speed or potentially a very fast Baneling nest to get aggressive with.
All right, well, Scarlett now going to start to put 2 and 2 together shortly. Life hiding his lings at the back here. He's going to send out all 6 very, very shortly. Scarlett, oh, she's going to catch it, but did she notice it? Did she notice it? She's got 2 Zerglings being built currently. She's going to be wanting to add a couple more than just 2. And Zergling speed on the way as well for Life. Gasless from Scarlett. Still building drones, Nathaniel. She's going to see it probably, I think, here for the first time.
She barely had vision of it before, but if she wasn't quite sure, she definitely is now. And immediately starts up a spine crawler. Keep in mind, her first queen is just about to pop, and I think with the support of these lings, maybe a drone will have to throw in a punch or 2. She can hold the first wave off, but 8 more lings on the way. Some more continuing to go down the map. And also, Zergling speed getting ever closer.
All right, well, she knows it's definitely a 1 base all in. She has an Overlord on Life's second. She knows that she's going to have to defend this. 2 spine crawls on the way. She's going to have to give up this natural, surely. It's not really going to be savable here. The ramp's going to be exploited. There's no way she can protect that. She has to protect from the mineral lines.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, Scarlett's thinking, you think long-term, you do want to hold on to this hatchery, and it can be a bit greedy at times if you move units there. keeping it alive. I can't really fault her too much for it because if Life makes one slip up and gives an advantage to Scarlett, suddenly she's ahead of whole base. She's ahead in larva production. And these Zerglings come in. Speed has completed. The two queens fighting off a couple of these Zerglings at the ramp to the natural, but getting surrounded. But one of the spine crawlers in range will lose one of her queens.
One of the queens goes down, but the spine crawler is going to assist. She doesn't want to lose the second one, really. It's just now popped out. A lot more Zerglings on the way. How is Scarlett going to manage this?
Oh, you know, the thing is, Scarlett doesn't have quite as fast of a force, but as long as she can take these units out, that's all that counts. Another queen gets picked off. You know, Life, he's looking to make these quick jabs here and there, but Scarlett knows, just hold on, survive, because Life is still on one base.
Yeah,
I like relocating the spine.
Yeah, very nice by Scarlett. She's got a lot of Zerglings out. Both of them were squeezing out a couple of drones here and there. Scarlett does have a supply lead, and she looks like she's going to be unbreakable at this point.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage of the game, she doesn't need to do anything other than defend because she has 19 drones. Even if Life wanted to build more workers, he has to get a hatchery first. Otherwise, those drones aren't really going to be efficient for him since he's just going to oversaturate his one base that he has. And Scarlett, you said it, with this defense, there's no real reason for her to try to move out of her base before she has, you know, speed or baneling nest of her own. She just wants to mine because she's got two bases to mine from.
She's adding on drones now, gases, more queens. She's feeling very comfortable with the amount of Zerglings that she's got out right now, but she's going to take a huge lead in this game. Life has chosen this strategy. It didn't work out to what he wanted to play against, obviously being a hatchery first here, and now he's paying the price. 39 supply to 30, and it's going to continue to increase with double hatcheries churning away. The lava, the drones, the capabilities are endless right now for Scarlett. A fantastic start for the Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at what Life got for the investment he made at the start of this game. No workers killed, and killing Zerglings isn't as important when you have all of the larvae necessary to keep pumping out drones of your own. Scarlett's up 26 workers to 19. Both players are just continuing to just get these workers out. Yeah, she can see that the hatchery was taken. Queen moved down to kill the Overlord watching the natural for Scarlett. But still, just because building a hatchery doesn't mean he has the same larva production. He has to wait for those injects as well.
But where does Scarlett go with this? She's got 200 gas in the bank. No Zergling speed. Straight towards a Roach Warren now.
I can see this working. If she's feeling defensive, like, she probably doesn't want to move out of her base either way. Because the way this map is set up, it's quite easy. But another queen might get picked off. Every little loss here, I don't think that was quite necessary. But Life is really just trying to get the most out of these Zerglings, which otherwise are going to be useless moving forward.
Oh, this is good for Life. He actually gets in and gets 2 drone kills there. And I mean, he got the queen at the front, 2 drones there. He's making the most out of these lings. And we've known for a very, very long time that Life definitely is able to use lings to the full potential that they can provide.
And he's also able to see that Scarlett has her lair on the way.
Yeah.
So he understands that there's a tech transition coming. That Scarlett's unlikely to stick just on Zerglings, but with that being said, Scarlett has an evolution chamber coming in, but also starts Zergling speed. And I'm starting to wonder if she's planning on doing something with this lair, or if she's actually, because I feel like she could get away with taking this third and just building roaches, parking them on her ramp, and then Life can't really attack her. But why does she want speed is what I'd really like to know.
Well, missile attacks is going to be upgraded from the evolution chamber. I'm sure we'll see the roach speed started immediately here too, but Scarlett just needs to maintain and hold this advantage that she's got. Life is going to creep around here, and there isn't an overload, so she's not really expecting it until the last second. She turns around, and is it going to get cancelled? Looks like no, it's not, as Scarlett does pull in to help defend it.
Not yet, of course. The Speedlings can still poke around since they have such a mobility advantage over the Zerglings of Scarlett. More Zerglings continue to come across the map, and I think Scarlett's forces at this third base are about to get sandwiched. She doesn't have a lot of roaches out yet, which means she can't block this ramp. These Zerglings could get some damage done.
Yeah, they're going to get some damage done here, and the roaches are coming out. There's a lot of them on the way, but not out yet, and is Life going to go back? And he will turn around to go get to that hatchery, and he's going to bring Scarlett back to 2 bases, so Life is doing a lot of small things right now, which are helping him get back into the game.
No cancel on that hatchery. 300 resources lost for Scarlett off of that base.
But a lot of roaches coming out. Nathaniel 7 +1 attack, roach speed.
This is a big opportunity for Scarlett since the roach horn isn't done yet for Life, and as you said, that roach speed is so quick with the +1 that even if Life can squeeze out some roaches on 2 bases, the roaches won't be as good as Scarlett's. And Life taking a third base, I also think, isn't too much of a concern because of how long it will take for that base to not only finish, but to build drones. And if you build drones to saturate a third this early on, Those roaches will kill you.
I mean, yeah, this is going to be so important here for Life. He needs to start building the roaches and get them out in big numbers here. But this is a smart move. He goes in as Scarlett moves out. Is Scarlett going to have enough popping out from the hatcheries to be able to defend this? The roaches get surrounded. Remember, at the same time, Scarlett continues to set... No, she was a little bit indecisive, actually, looking on the minimap. She went forward then backwards, but she is going to attack with the roaches on the other side.
Yeah, good transfuse, trying to keep these forces alive. Of course, those roaches were so close to having their +1 attack, which would really allow them to kill these Zerglings much more quickly. And now it's about to finish. Roach speed is done. Scarlett moves into life space, still taking some damage in her natural, but Life's roaches alone are just simply not as good as Scarlett's.
They're not upgraded as well, and they're coming out in individual numbers right now, while Scarlett has all these together. She's got 44 army supply to 28. Decisive moves right now from Scarlett, getting into the drone line, dealing out so much damage here.
GG! Scarlett taking the first game against StarTale's Life in quite nice fashion, I'd say. We know Life is one of those guys that will bring out the craziness to an extent, but really impressive.
All right, well, we are going to be loading into game number 2 now, and we did actually have a slight update, which some of you may be interested in or not, is Scarlett did have a problem during that game, and I think an admin's going to go over and help her. She actually played that entire game without any game sounds at all.
Man.
So, yeah, we'll see how this next one's going to shape up. Anyway, going into this now, Nathanius, what do you think's Life's going to be thinking? He's lost the last 2 times that they've played against each other. So now coming into this one, he's already losing the 3rd series. What do you think he's going through?
It's really tricky because you don't have any mental advantage against a player that has a winning record versus you. And we're also playing on Overgrowth, which I would call Scarlett's map for ZvZ.
Right.
If you go hatchery first against Scarlett on this map, you're almost asking for it. She's, from most of the games I've seen her play in the Battlegrounds North America and any of the Battlegrounds tournaments she's competed in, she's done a lot of 9 pools. She loves to get aggressive on this map. But against Life, if she can hold off his aggression and then win in that kind of back and forth straight up scenario, maybe she doesn't need to. But I'm curious to see just how aggressive she wants to get, because I definitely give her an edge over Life. I'm not really sure what he's supposed to change up, except try to, maybe not be as aggressive and drag out a longer game.
All right, well, Overgrowth going to be the next map here between these 2 players. Are we going to see Scarlett move on to the winner's game? Of course, straight after this one, we will be going immediately into Flash versus MC on this stage. 2 massive players going to be going head-to-head. Flash making his debut here in Canada, and likewise a lot of other players. But MC will be a great match between the both of them. But Life now ready for game number 2. Life so far has had a good tournament. He came through the open bracket and took out quite a good few players on his way. Of course, Scarlett was put into likewise in a similar position, but we'll see it. So, Overgrowth. 2-player map, Nathanius. Do you think we'll see any early spawning pools to try and get an early lead like Life attempted? Do you think both of them will just fall back onto more safer openings? What do you think? Not so much on strategical, just builds.
Yeah, this is Scarlett's map for the early aggressive playing, Zerg versus Zerg. But against someone like Life, who's known for having good early game control of his units, but also going for fast pools himself, it's a bit difficult to call, because the styles almost neutralize each other at this point. And I think Life just has to play from an uncomfortable position to being down against such a world-class opponent. And of course, he is our blue Zerg in the northeast position, coming all the way from South Korea. Representing StarTale, he is Life.
And down here to the south side of Overgrowth, playing for Team Acer, hailing from Canada, it's Scarlett! And of course, the crowd fully behind Scarlett now. 1 game up. Win this one and see yourself through to the winner's game.
Yeah, this is a very important couple of matches we've had going on here. The Intel Extreme Masters Toronto. But the most important thing to note, of course, is that both players have made it over the 10 supply hump that is the fast pool zone. So we're going to see likely either the economic spawning pool or just that quick hatchery to get a good economy. At this point, since neither of them are being aggressive, they could both get away with a hatchery first. It really comes down to preference, or perhaps potentially for one of them fear that the other would go for a fast spawning pool.
All right, well, early spawning pool coming down here for Scarlett once more. 15 spawning pool, same as previous. Whereas Life this time decided to go for the hatchery first.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think either one of these options is necessarily bad. Of course, you get like an extra larva or so with the hatchery first, but going with the spawning pool opening for Scarlett at least gives you a little bit of a sense of comfort. You know that if your opponent, if Life was to go for a 9 pool or another 10 pool, she would be safe. She's certainly good enough in a position where she gets a later pool to be able to defend, and I think that's the best way to play when you're ahead in a series like this, because she would love to just close this out rather than take a risk and have to play a third game.
Right. But Life, on the other hand, has decided to go for quite a greedy opening here. Hatchery first, followed by gas immediately, which will allow him easy access and quite fast access up to that Zergling speed. And then a spawning pool a little bit afterwards here. So as you can see, the difference between the spawning pool is actually quite drastic, with the Queen already started a good few seconds in, and Life spawning pool just crossing the halfway line now.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, I like this map a lot for some of the gasless openings that players try, but do you think with both of them opening up gas, is it more likely that we're just going to see speed openings to be defensive or play around a bit? Or which of these players do you think would actually commit to a very big, aggressive, maybe Zergling Baneling attack?
If anyone, it's going to be Life, just because he's got the faster gas here. But the problem is he doesn't know that what Scarlett's doing, whether it be gas or gasless. So once he does find that information, it'll be easier to tell. Scarlett gets in the main base, and she's going to see that Zergling speed already researching.
You know, that's a really big point that you bring up. Life doesn't have access to information because on this map, with where those gases are placed, because Scarlett opened up pool first, her Queen is out early enough to delay the Overlord. And aside from that, she's able to get these Zerglings in, and she doesn't have to run them inside Life's main base, because she's already seen, because of his hatch first with her Overlord, everything that he's doing.
But Life kind of needs more information to start to choose what he wants to do in this game. He doesn't know if Circling Speed is on the way or not. It could be gasless, as you said. Unless he's already got a plan, he's like, all right, I'm just going to go for whatever I've got planned previously, and I don't really care what you do. Scarlett trying to get a bit of damage onto these Zerglings while trying not to lose any of her own, just so she can deny that scouting. These two Lings obviously would love to get inside the main base here.
It seems like such a minor detail, but oftentimes the Zerg player that has the two Lings will just try to run them past the Queen.
Yeah.
But since Scarlett traded her Lings to really soften those two up, it's not possible for them to run past the Queen. And it's a minor detail, but it prevents him from, as you said, getting information like that Baneling nest that's being built in Scarlett's base.
Well, Scarlett is building 14 Zerglings right now, 18. Nathanius,
big commitment.
And look at this, with Life going out of gas and starting a layer just as we looked at the base there. He doesn't have a Baneling nest of his own. Dealing with a Zergling Baneling attack when you simply don't have a big wall already made or Banelings of your own?
He canceled speed to get that. Life doesn't have Zergling speed.
Well,
that's going to be awkward when a bunch of Speedlings and Banelings run up to your base, Apollo.
This is going to be very difficult right now, and Scarlett could close this out. 12 more Zerglings on the way. She's going across the other side. A Spinecrawler's being built, but with no Roach One completed yet, a wall that's hardly built, only just now trying to be completed.
Life is going to need one hell of a wall to stop this attack. All these Zerglings coming across. 3 Queens are going to be able to help block this, but I think with the way that these buildings are arranged, if Scarlett throw a couple of Banelings in the center of that, I think that's breakable.
And that's
there's actually a lot of surface area on the Roach Warren.
The Roach Warren goes down here, and this will open up the base. So Scarlett has options to come around this left-hand side now, and it's going to go try and get close, but it doesn't.
It denies the next Roach Warren from being placed, running in past that Spinecrawler, and Scarlett just trying to get as much damage as possible. Banelings will crash through. There are a good number of Zerglings here for Life. If these Banelings can get 1 or 2 good connections, she'll be able to continue to clean house. And I think she's done okay so far, but hasn't really gotten the drone kills she's looking for.
Yeah, she hasn't, and she's trying to get a couple more inside the main base now. That was a pretty good defense there from Life, who does take a supply lead in this game. And with that layer finishing up and the defense now cleaned up, Scarlett only managed to get 3 drones there, so very good hold there from Life. And now Scarlett falls back onto trying to build a layer and trying to recover, but this is a decent position from Life.
Yeah, definitely not everything that Scarlett was looking for from that. Life starts up Zergling speed, and I think Scarlett going out to take the third base, and she does have speed. She has that, that map control that the faster units give you. She wants to take the third because it's really the only advantage I think that she can take right now.
1-1 upgrades now coming in for Life. He'll slowly but surely take his third in the meantime, as Scarlett is going to have to try and get just a single upgrade out from that evolution chamber. Later roach speed, which is actually very surprising. Will only just now get started for Life, considering that he got the layer so early on after losing that roach warrant. Third is down for Scarlett, not yet for Life.
Slow Zerglings generally have a hard time putting pressure on because it's just more difficult to maneuver. Scarlett can get surrounds on Life's Zerglings much more easily. And as you can see, like that, it gives you a decisive... Oh, wow. That bailing was not bad either.
That was a pretty good bailing there. So she just pushed this back for now. But 7 roaches on the way for Life and 5 drones on the way for Scarlett. And we can pretty much tell that roaches are going to be able to beat drones. So she's going to need more than that. And there's a lot being built right now for Life. Scarlett comes around, sees no third base, and she doesn't have an overlord there. So that's the first information of no third that she would have gathered in this game. So she's going to have to start thinking about building roaches of her own.
Yeah,
she continues to drone.
It's a tense situation. Life's only been building 1 overlord, and he's either has to build a ton more and get ready for a big flood without really saturating this third base, or he's just playing a bit more defensively. But with the 1-1 so close to finishing, I mean, he had to build all those evolution chambers to wall, and using them to get upgrades, I mean, he's smart for which kind of seems like obvious reasons. If he has more upgrades, his roaches are just better in a head-on engagement.
Yeah, and Scarlett now starts her roach production, but she's got a strategy here, or a trick, should I say, more so than anything else. 2 bailings to the top left, and with 2 bailings to the top left here, when the drones get moved over and transferred to that third, she can move in with these 2 and hopefully do some damage to the economy, but that's more of something later, a trick later on to use, because right now the problem is these roaches. They're coming across the map. She has minimal units of her own. She needs to get enough out to defend against this.
It's just so tricky. The 1-1 has completed. The +1 attack has not even yet finished for Scarlett, so her roaches are much worse than the forces of Life. Those queens don't deal as much damage as they could trying to hold, and Life is going to try to just barge straight through the main front. Oh, contaminating. +1 isn't going to finish, even though it's actually full in its queue. And Life's roaches, I think, with this much of an advantage, they might just be able to end the game right here.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to. There's a lot of roaches about to pop out here. Scarlett needs to try and hang on, otherwise will Life equalize this series? It looks like he's going to, as this is a lot of roaches streaming across the other side now.
He's dancing the roaches, Apollo. Life's feeling good.
That is Life. That just sums up Life. That's the kind of character he is. But Scarlett is filling in the defense right now. 85 supply to 118. And StarTale Life comes out the gates for map number 2 now and is looking in good shape. The drones get pulled off the line. And Life swinging around, making sure he deals as much damage as possible here. And he is going to take map number 2. GG.
Yeah, Life making a good hold on that early attack. It seemed that Scarlett had everything going her way as far as setting up the initial push, preventing it from being scouted with her 15 pull opening, that fast queen, and also softening up those Zerglings so that they couldn't run past Scarlett's queen. Everything looked really good right up until the point where the wall got set up just in time to stop some of the Banelings, and the Zerglings, even though they got through the wall, they ended up taking a lot of damage from those 4 queens and that spine crawler.
Well, the last time these 2 played, as Todd mentioned a little bit earlier on, was at MLG Anaheim. And it was 2-1 in favor of Scarlett. Very similarly played out. And on the 3rd decider map, Scarlett decided to go for a 2-base all-in, which gave her the victory against Life. But what are we going to see this time? The next map is going to be King Sejong Station. And Life just bucket loads of experience on these type of stages. He's won 7 tournaments at the age of 17. He's no stranger to high-pressure situations, and to be honest, I think he excels in them more than feels any type of pressure.
Yeah, this is, Life's been on the big stages of, many a time. We use the term Royal Roader in a lot of the tournaments that he's competed in internationally and in Korea. I can't say that nerves really play a factor in this. Both of these players have played at the highest level in most tournaments that they've been able to compete in wherever they've gone.
Well, Scarlett thinking over that last game. What happened? Was it right to try that attack? That was the thing that cost her the game, you could say, after failing to break through. After Life's pretty good defense there. Here's a smile into the camera there from Scarlett.
It's got to feel good to be able to play on home turf, not having don't have a crazy amount of tournaments like this in Canada. I think we saw some actually really cool play from Huck when we were able to get him in his matches as well.
If Scarlett wins this, we've got our Canadian flags here. We can wave them together, Nathanias. So we'll see if she wins or not. Unfortunately, I don't have a Korean one, so we're going to have to stick with the Canadian ones either way. All right, both players are wishing each other good luck and have fun. We'll be beginning this very shortly. Remember, the winner of this will take on either Flash or MC on this stage in the next couple of hours or so. Lots of intense StarCraft action now. We've reached Group D, the group of death, the group of anticipation. Everyone's been looking forward to this one because this group is just so incredibly stacked. This group has 4 fantastic players, 4 very different players as well, with very unique styles.
Truly one of the highest skill level groups, I think, by far. Very difficult to call who's going to get out. But it has to sit, and we're going to find out the first player to be in a good position, to say the least, after this map. We are loaded into King Sejong Station. And our first player in the bottom right, the red Zerg. She's from Canada. She represents Acer. She is Scarlett.
The rumbling of the arena, Nathanius. And up here to the top left, as the blue Zerg player playing for Team StarTale, it's Life! And now it boils down to who has, you know, the guts here to go for something insane. Who would go for an early spawning pool here? We don't see anything too incredibly early, so we are looking towards more standardized, safer options from the both of them. Does anyone want to take a risk with their openers? Life was a little bit greedy in that previous one.
I think this map pushes a little bit more of those greedy plays quite often. You have a longer rush distance by ground. It makes early pushes, especially off early pools, a bit tricky. Of course, you can use your Overlord to keep track of the other one, but we've kind of ruled out the super early pool play. If either one of these players wants to attack, I think King Sejong Station is just, it's a little bit more difficult than something like Overgrowth. So I think this is, if there's any game here in this series that's going to go the distance, I would have said this one or Nimbus, and then of course, well, Nimbus things got a little bit hairy.
Nathanius, I know Roach is obviously very popular. They're probably your favorite unit. I know. No need to tell me about them. Do you think that we'll see like a Zergling style at all instead of Roaches?
So Scarlett is one of the players that definitely has shown she likes some of the Zergling heavy play into Mutalisks, into Brood Lords, which had kind of been touched on a little bit in the pregame with the guys on the couch. And I think I've seen Scarlett do it with a lot of success. I've seen who else? Violet. And I think Hyun even tried to match Violet doing style and didn't quite get to Brood Lords in that match, but a very heavy Mutalisk-based composition at the Battlegrounds Detroit. So it's something that's becoming more and more of a thing. I don't think it's quite standard yet because I'm sure you've played some games as yourself. You try to play anything other than Roaches, unless you do it perfectly or get a lead early on. I mean, just a big Roach attack can kill you very often.
Both players know each other have gone hatchery first now with the Overlords cruising over the second hatchery. Both of them are going to try and look for each other's gas now, and they're going to be able to tell what's going on a lot more than Overgrowth, because Overgrowth was a bit of a game with lack of information from both sides. But Scarlett goes in, and once again is going to see Zergling speed researching. It's not incredibly fast. She's not incredibly far behind. She's only going to be a few seconds, as you can see. Now she'll start her own Zergling speed. But notice Scarlett staying in gas in, Nathaniel. She's not taking out at all. She's going to keep the gas income going for a little bit. She's going to throw down a Baneling Nest pretty fast here because Life, he's taken out.
I wonder if how long he was looking at that extractor to see how many drones were mining off of it. Something very important that you mentioned earlier was since both players went hatch first, you're able to get the Overlord in very deep to scout. And, well, there's that Baneling Nest.
There's that Baneling Nest. So looks like Scarlett's going to attempt something very similar to the last game. Ling production starting already here. Is it going to continue on?
I'm very interested to see Life, despite having 100 gas, has simply not started Zergling speed. I mean, we've seen players like Violet do fake outs where they'll get maybe their second or third queen and then go for a very quick lair. But against someone like Scarlett, you are once again, you're really relying on defending with just queens, which we've seen him do, but it's still very difficult because of how big the ramp on this map is.
Oh, Life is going to get inside the main base, and he will spot the Baneling Nest, so he knows that a threat is definitely possible here. But still, only drones coming out from Scarlett. She's not building any Zerglings at the moment, and she's gone for a lair, so it doesn't look like she is going to commit here. This Baneling Nest seems in this game more so defensive than anything else here in case Life was to go for something. But in Life's vision, this definitely could still seem aggressive.
Yeah, he has to keep his eyes open for this. And I mean, he should try to get a fast wall up. He puts his evolution chamber and his roach horn as part of it. Scarlett shows a few lings. But you know, the way that this map's laid out, Life generally should be able to see what's coming from Scarlett across the map.
Right.
And he has his own lair. Scarlett's is only a few seconds faster. Life's Overlord, by the way, just dips into the main base. He sees the lair morphing for Scarlett.
Yeah.
I think that gives him, you know, a little bit of breath of relief. He's like, okay, well, now I don't have to at least worry about a massive Zergling Baneling attack.
Neither of them have really built any units in this game. It's just been drones, drones, drones. But it is Life who is going to get the +1 attack down, and Scarlett seems to be aiming towards a Spire at the moment here. No Roach War, no Evolution Chamber, just now finished up with the lair. Yeah. Third base is going to be taken very shortly here, and there is the Spire. So Mutalisk play is going to be used here, not as common as the Roach style or even the Zergling style here.
Yeah. So here's the really important thing is these queens push this Overlord away. When you go for this style, that Spire takes 100 seconds to build. Roach +1 attack had started just barely before it, so that around the time that this Spire is finishing, Roach speed will be done, +1 attack for Roaches will be done, and Life is already putting out a lot of Roaches. I think that Scarlett is going to have a very difficult time holding a fast Roach attack if Life decides to move across the map, and with the current Roach production, he doesn't have anything to worry about defensively, so that could very well be what we see.
Well, at the moment, Scarlett definitely needs to think about this. This is a massive threat. She doesn't quite know it's happening, of course. But funny enough, neither does Life know that there's a Spire on the way either, so... But the Roach production is still going for Life. It is a very scary amount, as you've been saying. The Overseer goes in and dips in. Doesn't see any Evolution and Roach Chamber around. Hasn't spotted the Spire directly, but maybe indirectly starting to figure this out, of course, as a Zerg expert himself. And he's moving across the map now. There's going to be 9, if not 10, Mutalisks coming out in a second. But can they get rid of the Roaches fast enough here?
That's the biggest problem. 3 spines started up. One of them, I think, was started at a very nice time, so she'll have at least one. She'll be very close to having those 3 spines, and she doesn't have anything committed at all to this third base, which is very smart. And this queen, it dies, but it definitely confirms what's coming Scarlett's way. As those other 2 spines are close, the Mutalisks are about to pop out Apollo, but how much damage will these Roaches do before they kill them?
Yeah, already getting into the drone lines, and Life knows that these Roaches have a time limit to them. He's got to get as much damage done as possible, and Scarlett is taking damage, trying to move the drones out of the way. The spine's complete, and she is going to clean this up, but how many drones is she going to lose in the meantime? I think she's done a pretty good job, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Life's only killed about 7 workers. For Scarlett, it's all about having that gas economy to keep pumping out Mutalisks if she really wants to stick with that. 8 drones lost overall. The third base is taking some heat. They might kill just a few more workers that spawned there, but Scarlett immediately starts the Infestation Pit and +1 flyer attacks. Those 2 things, they scream Hive Apollo.
They do. This is going to be a very interesting game for the next little bit, especially
Nidus
because Life
network
has chosen a Nidus network here. He's building queens 3 at a time, and right now the priority for Scarlett, even though she doesn't know it, she has to get rid of every Overseer, every Zergling, every Overlord, anything that's close around that could give vision for this attack to take place. And she's found 1 or 2, but with 2 Zerglings on the right-hand side giving vision for Life to put down this. How many queens are out so far? 9! He's already at 9, and look at all the transfuses. She's got to be seeing these queens and saying like, holy moly, man, that's a lot here.
This is almost one of those situations where you want to delay the creep spread so that those queens can't get to you, but that's what the Nidus will accomplish. Scarlett came very close, but she did not see it. And where this is coming up, to the right of those rocks, these Mutalisks aren't going to kill these queens, Apollo.
They aren't, no. So she's got to start thinking about building spines and keeping spines by that natural of hers. And she's going to start to hear and notice that the Roaches are breaking this down. If she can get over there, maybe pick off the Nidus before the queens come out.
Before the queens come out, that's the most important thing. 1 queen out, 2 queens, 3. Okay, now they're all out. The transfuses. Very nice play by Life. And suddenly Scarlett, 10 mutas do not beat 10 queens.
I think this is going to be incredibly difficult for Scarlett to hold on to Nathanius. This is so much damage.
Yeah, the spines trying to root, not quite in time. One of them a little bit delayed on the rooting process. The mutas, I mean, if you can push the Roaches back, you're still going to have to deal with queens endlessly transfusing their way through these spine crawlers, and Scarlett not having the same amount of queens, she can't keep the spine crawlers alive this long.
Yeah, the drones are coming off the line here. I think she knows this is too difficult to stop. There's too many queens, there's too many transfuses.
There's too many forces here for Life. He's blasting through Scarlett's natural, a single spine crawler to be knocked down, dancing his units back and forth. GG, Life will advance on to the upper bracket match for this Group D.
Yes, he will. A great effort from both sides there, but it is Life who moves on to the winner's match. And Scarlett will fall down to the lower bracket now and will have to fight her way in a very, very difficult group to find maybe a glimmer of hope to play in the decider match tomorrow. But Life bringing out another good level performance here at the Intel Extreme Masters. He's had a great run so far. He's gone through Stardust, through Revival, through Snoot, and now Scarlett. Life is racking up players, and he hasn't dropped a single map. Well, apart from this one, hasn't dropped a single map before this, and is looking in pretty good shape here.
Yeah, definitely one of the players we're looking forward to see, as he's kind of always been good, and he had a good run at Intel Extreme Masters last year, but he's going to play the winner of, I believe, the next series, which I believe is MC versus Flash.
Yeah, that's right. Well done for Life. He moves on to the winner's game, and he will play the next game against Flash or MC.
Thank you very much, commentary team. Wonderful again, as ever, with Polo over there. And over here on the couch, kind of disappointing for the Canadian fans. They saw Massa obviously losing to Snoot, and now Scarlett going down to Life. What do you make of the game overall? I mean, obviously not having sound and making some mistakes in the game was better than having sound and not making mistakes. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, maybe it removed some of the pressure as well. I don't know, but interesting to me that she went again for Mass Links on Overgrowth, because that's how she won against Life last time in the decisive game at MLG.
And he would have known that, obviously. So
yeah, so maybe there is some end game. Maybe she had some kind of a tail that Life maybe likes to skip on the Baneling Nest, gets his wall maybe a little bit too late, in which case you can bridge it, get in there with the Zoglinks, and she got in there eventually, but there was not enough links still alive. The Banelings, you know, it was re-wall behind. So just Life too solid overall to lose to Scarlett this time.
I felt like what happened on Overgrowth was that the first attack succeeded in breaking the wall, but there wasn't enough reinforcements left over to actually do the economic damage that she needed. If there had been like a follow-up, you know, you make all those lings, you make those banelings, and then behind it she was making drones. If behind it she had made another big influx of lings, the wall was down, the spine crawler was down, the transfuses were starting to go, his ling count was low, you know, 5 more banelings, then suddenly you're actually in the mineral line doing the damage. It just felt like Scarlett didn't commit to the attack as much as she could have, and that would have resulted in just a huge swing in the course of the game.
They've both got difficult matches coming up, because even though Life's won, he still has to play either MC or Flash in the next game. And even though Scarlett lost, she's still got to play either MC or Flash in the next game. So they've both got difficult matches to go forward. Do you think that actually she's got a chance if she plays MC rather than if she plays Flash, bearing in mind what we've seen from Flash over the last 2 or 3 weeks?
I don't know, man. I don't. that is a hard question to answer. They are such. This whole group is so stacked right now, and I think Scarlett will come back from this. You know, ZvZ is a very brutal matchup. A lot of back and forth. Very easy to lose in just 1 or 2 little mistakes. She's got a couple of minutes here to relax. Fans, friends here to support her, help her kind of get back into the mindset that she needs to be the champion that she wants to be.
And just as a reminder for those of you at home, as to how stacked this competition is, and we keep talking about it all day long because it just is, and even the players backstage. I was just talking to Stardust backstage. He's down doing some sightseeing, amazingly, in civvies. He's not even in team shirt, so he can't even come out. And he said, hardest tournament ever of my life. And he should know because he had the open bracket yesterday.
Yep.
And you look at Group A, and Pulp finishes bottom of the table. You look at Group B, and Hyun finishes bottom of the table. I mean, this is ridiculous. So at this group, I mean, even if you finish bottom, it's almost like, well, it doesn't matter because of the quality of the players.
Yeah, but
it's disappointing.
But no.
no shame, really.
No, that's what I'm kind of trying to say. But it's just every group seems to be really tough for every single player. And we've seen a few surprises today. I wonder whether we might see a couple more. MC Flash is up next very quickly before we go to a break. Thoughts ahead of the clash of the old men?
If this was Brood War, it would be a completely different match. We would have the Suicide Toss against God himself, the ultimate weapon, I think his nickname was.
Yeah.
But on StarCraft 2, anything can happen. And
it's going to be fun, though.
I really don't know.
It's going to be fun to see how it all pans out.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, gents. Quick break then. And when we come back, it is the boss toss against the boss of the world. We'll see who wins that one.